From ghosts to psychics, there's no secret beyond his reach. It's Roy Kaplan, private investigator.
Kaplan speaking. Do you ever feel alone? I've had psychic powers for as long as I can remember, and I've always been surrounded by people who could never understand what it was like to be me, and were scared of what I could do. It hurts, I won't lie, but I don't think it has to be that way. Opinions are just opinions. When people don't think of you the way they should, you just have to change their minds. It was early afternoon when my good friend Rem called me up with a lead on a case, the powerful psychic I'd been searching for almost 6 months.
I see. And how did your research go?
The farthest I was able to trace the info was to a professor named Dr. Laurel Keyes. She has the case file now, but she won't share any of it without a good reason.
I guess tracking down a psychic isn't considered a good reason?
Unfortunately, no. I know it's not much of a lead. Sorry, Roy.
No, Rem. This is good. This is more than I've dug up in the past few months. Maybe I'll finally find this psychic stalker.
Psychic stalker is kind of a strong term.
Yeah? What would you call them?
I don't know. Stalking just seems extreme. You're psychic, right? If you found out about someone else who was like you, you'd want to meet them, wouldn't you?
Not really. It's not that big of a deal.
What do you mean? You've got amazing powers, Roy.
It's just a thing I can do. I don't see why you're so concerned about it.
So, you don't care at all? You don't want to know who this other psychic is?
Sure, I want to know who this person is. I want them to stop tracking down all my contacts, erasing me from people's memories, and murdering bystanders to cover it up. It's been 4 months and Notion still doesn't remember everything. I don't think they ever will. I don't care what this person wants with me. I'm sick of it.
Well, what will you do when you meet them? With all this psychic stuff, it's not like you can report them to the Garda.
I don't know. I've got to stop them somehow, but I can't do anything until I find them.
If you're not careful, they'll find you first.
All the more reason to act now. I don't want anyone in my head, especially not whoever this person is. So this case file should be at the institution?
That's right. I wasn't able to get in touch with Dr. Keyes, but I think you could get a hold of the data. I've got some maps of the place.
Maps? That's pretty thorough of you.
Well, I try my best. Here. It should help.
Interesting.
What's interesting?
Nothing. Just talking to myself, that's all. I'll look into this.
Good luck, Roy. Dr. Laurel Keyes was an academic working at the Autumnal Institute of History, the center downtown that's dedicated to archiving and preserving everything left over from the old era. Dr. Keyes herself was a specialist in the long winter and the events leading up to it. I didn't know how her case file would help me find the person I was looking for, but I was willing to find out. I visited the Institute that night. It was heavily secured, not the kind of place you can trick your way in, but with powers like mine, it was a breeze. Using Rem's maps, I got in and out without a trace. All I had to do was take the data to Rem and find where the trail went from there.
Roy, is that you?
It could hardly be anyone else. Can you hand me the first aid kit, Wes?
I'm not solid right now, sorry. What happened to you?
I went to the Autumnal to get some data. Had some close calls with the security and wrenched my shoulder. Not my finest heist.
You broke into the Historical Institute? What the hell for?
They had some information I needed to find my psychic stalker.
In the old archives?
I don't really get it either. I'm hoping this data chip can explain some things. These are scans of old-era documents.
These look like some kind of research notes. I couldn't tell you what for.
I don't understand. It's interesting information, I guess, but how is this supposed to help me find this psychic?
Did you swipe the wrong info?
No. This is the exact chip Rem said I'd need. I made sure. The autumnal is one of the last places I want to break into a second time.
Rem?
Rem does investigative journalism, remember? I asked if they could look into the psychic thing, and this is what they pulled up.
Roy, you keep mentioning Rem. Who is Rem?
What? Wes, you've met Rem. You know, about this tall with long black hair and facial tattoos.
This city's lousy with folks who look like that. What next? They've got 2 hands and feet?
Rem's visited this apartment before. You've seen them.
I assure you I have not. You hardly ever have visitors, Roy. I guarantee Rem was not one of them.
Really?
You think I'd lie about this?
No, you've never lied to me.
Roy?
I've got a bad feeling about all of this. I need to think.
I had questions about the data and the psychic I was hunting, so the next morning I went to see Rem. They lived in a comfortably sized 2-bedroom apartment with a view of the river. It was a nice place, nicer than mine. Not the kind of place you'd expect psychics to be. Roy, it's good to see you. I didn't expect you to stop by so soon.
Sorry. I probably should have sent a message, huh?
No, it's fine. You're always welcome here. Come on in.
Thanks.
Were you able to get the case file?
You know who you're talking to, right? Of course I did. It was easy.
Well, that's great. And you have it with you?
Yeah, here. We can look at it later.
You haven't looked at it yet?
Nah, I figured you'd have a better idea of what to do with it, so I waited. Is that wrong?
No, it's fine. Can I get you something to drink? It's a long ways from your apartment.
I wouldn't mind a drink.
Then sit down, and I can get you something.
Sure. I appreciate it. This is a nice apartment. Do you own the place?
Yeah, of course I do. I've got some sparkling water and grape juice. Do you have a preference?
Sparkling water's fine. I just figured I'd ask, because this is a big place for only one person. You take good care of it, though.
Here.
Thanks.
I guess the apartment is a little large, but I like the space. If I've got the means, why not live comfortably, you know?
Sure, I get it. I wouldn't mind a bigger place myself sometimes. When did you move in here?
About a year ago, I think. Why all the questions?
I'm just curious. This psychic stalker that's been gunning for me, I've had a hell of a time trying to track them down, you know. That's the thing about trying to find someone who can erase people's memories. By the time I come around to dig into what's happened, the entire thing's been covered up. People don't make reports because they don't remember anything to report, and witnesses are impossible to track down. It's nothing but dead ends no matter where you look.
Yeah, it's difficult.
But there's things you can't cover up just by making people forget what happened. There's data trails and money and physical evidence, just so long as you know where to look. You know that already, of course. Investigative journalism is still investigation.
Of course.
So when things don't fit together, naturally I ask questions. That's just what I do. I wouldn't be a very good investigator otherwise.
Roy, you're rambling.
Am I? Sorry. I do love the sound of my own voice, unfortunately. What I meant to say is, I looked into the property deeds for this apartment and found that it's been owned by someone named Benny Rhodes, who I think we can both agree is not you. Rhodes has been missing for the last 6 months, but according to current records, they still own this apartment. So what's going on here, Rem?
I'm renting it from Benny. You don't have to make such a big deal out of it.
Earlier, you said you owned the apartment.
I misspoke. That happens sometimes, doesn't it?
Sure. Then let's put the apartment aside for now. Whatever's going on with that, Probably isn't legal, but that's not the point. This is what I wanted to ask about.
These are maps.
Stunning observation.
What do you want to ask about them?
These are the maps you gave me to break into the autumnal. But you know, I've seen this handwriting before.
Is that so?
6 months ago, an old coworker of mine, Viola Locke, came to my office and asked me to commit a burglary. She provided this set of maps and information about the security and guard rotations. The parallels are striking, Rem.
It's compelling, I admit.
Vi did all of that because she'd been coerced into it by some unknown psychic who, for whatever reason, was trying to pin me down. After all of it was said and done, her memory was wiped. She didn't remember me at all. But here you are, Rem, the only one of my friends who hasn't been targeted by this psychic. Can you explain yourself?
Of course I can. But is that what you really want?
I've spent this long trying to hunt down this psychic stalker. I've had it with them interfering with my life. This ends now. Who are you working for? Yeah, laugh it up. I don't see what's so funny about you selling me out to someone who wants to ruin my life.
This is what I like about you, Roy. You're so perceptive, but you're still so naive.
Stop waffling! The jig is up! Tell me who you're working for!
Oh, Roy, I'm not working for anyone.
You think you can lie to me after all this? Who's the psychic?
The psychic you're looking for is right here.
What? Where did this guy come from?
Hold him tightly. We wouldn't want him to escape, now would we?
Get your hands off me, you two-faced son of a bitch.
There's no need for so much hostility. We're all friends here, aren't we?
You're not my friend. You never were.
Oh, maybe not now, but I will be.
What's that supposed to mean?
Good night, Red. I'll see you on the other side.
Roy, are you awake? Wes?
No, Wes isn't here.
Wes, I could really use some help right now.
They can't help you now. Open your eyes.
Rem, what the hell? You tied me up? Not even to a chair, you just dumped me on the floor. Is this how megalomaniac psychics treat their house guests these days?
Well, I understand you're something of an escape artist. It seemed prudent to put some preventative measures in place. How do you feel?
I'd feel a lot better if I weren't tied up and you let me go.
Oh, you're so funny sometimes. Let me get you something to drink. You must be parched. Ben, get some water for our guest.
Your water, master.
Well, don't just stand there. Pour it.
Yes, master.
Good. You can leave now. Wait outside.
Yes, master.
Master? What kind of fantasy world are you living in?
They're just showing me the respect I deserve. They'll treat you just as nicely if I ask them to. Here, drink some water. You saw Ben open it. It's not drugged.
You tied my hands behind my back.
Oh, I did do that, didn't I? Oh, then I guess you won't need this after all.
So this is the game now. You're keeping me prisoner?
Oh, that's kind of harsh. This is a nice room. You have a nice bed, a private bathroom. I'll give you good food. If you want nice clothes, money, entertainment, I can give you those too. Anything you desire, I can make it yours.
I desire for you to let me go and get out of my life.
Well, we both know I won't do that.
What do you want from me?
Isn't it obvious? I want you.
I don't feel that way about you. Sorry.
It's cute that you can make jokes in a situation like this. You talk so much in your stories about your irreverence, but it's still so thrilling to hear it firsthand.
Let go of me. You touch my face again, and I'll bite your finger off.
Aren't you feisty? All your friends told me you were a man with a calm temperament. The threats and snarling aren't really your style.
I'll say what I damn well like. What's the point of all this?
You're a psychic, Red. You're valuable, a diamond in the rough. You have beautiful powers that normal people will never understand or accept. They're scared of what you can do, and they always will be. How long are you going to force yourself to live by their rules and bring yourself down to their level? You deserve better than that.
What the hell are you talking about?
Don't you get it? We're not like those people. They're nothing. We're better than all of them. With me, you don't have to debase yourself anymore. You don't have to act like them. You can be everything you should be. Standing above all that trash. I'll treat you the way you should be treated, Red. Together, we could be magnificent. Together, we could take this entire city.
Did you stay up all night writing that little speech?
If you keep talking like that, I'll start to think you don't care. And after all the effort I went through to acquire you.
Cry me a river. I'm sure your life of stalkery is so hard.
Oh, don't be crude. When I heard about someone with strange abilities, of course I had to reach out. Once I started looking, it was easy to find out who you were. There's so many people who know about Roy Kaplan, the man who talks to people who aren't there and knows things he shouldn't. But after that, I could hardly find anyone who knew anything real about you. I suppose most of your friends are thieves. I had to dig deep into your history to find anyone useful.
You're not convincing me that you're not a stalker.
Poor Viola Locke. You were friends for so long, but it was never going to last. You were too talented. Your lock-breaking skills weren't just prodigious. They were impossible. You were too sharp and uncanny. Just the kind of person who could see through her scheming personality. She couldn't stand it, so she got rid of you. Doesn't that eat you up, Red?
No, that was 8 years ago.
She never should have treated you like she did. So I decided to make use of her and test you. I knew you were powerful, but I didn't know what those powers were, except that they were different from mine. I wanted to see it for myself. So I had Viola ask you to steal something for me. But you went about it a different way, didn't you? You just walked in and stole those gloves directly from under everyone's noses. That's when I realized you were something special. You're not just a pretty face with psychic powers. You'll take what you want, and you're smart about it. Just like me.
Don't lump me with the likes of you.
I couldn't contain myself after that. I had to see you in person. I had to get my hands on you and see what was in that memory of yours. So I used your friend Notion and lured you out. It was so easy. You're so predictably loyal. Kingsley came close to harming you, but I took care of that.
Took care of that? You murdered her.
Well, can you blame me? If she'd done anything, all my work would have been for nothing. I take good care of my things, Red. That house where the smugglers had drugged you, I burnt it down. That doctor who would have sliced you open, I killed him. Don't you see? Nobody's allowed to hurt you. I'll give you everything if you want it. Nobody can stand in your way. All I ask is that you stay with me.
You... What is wrong with you? Why are you doing all of this, Rem? We were friends for years, and now you're going to come out of nowhere and hit me with all of this? If you were planning some psychic power trip this whole time, then why the hell did you wait so long? What's so funny?
Just as always. You're so perceptive, yet so... wrong.
You gonna let me in on the joke? Because I'm not laughing.
The only joke here is how out of your depth you are. You went to so much effort to find me, and now what? You talked a big game about stopping me. So try it. You're gearing up for a fight, but you don't realize I've already won.
And people say I'm the one who's in love with the sound of my own voice.
You don't realize this, but the first time I met you was 4 months ago, in that basement at the dig site, when I erased your memories and added a few of my own.
You... what?
Are you really surprised that someone who can look into and erase memories can also change them? You're so loyal to your friends, so I made a history where we were good friends. Don't you remember all the good times we had together? Don't you remember all the meals we shared, the things we did for each other? Don't you remember all the times I helped you when you needed it most? That was all a lie. But you can't help but believe it, can you? They're your memories. Who can you trust, if not your own mind?
You're sick. How could you do that to anyone?
It's what anyone would do, with abilities like mine.
No! No, it's not! Nobody would do that unless they're a monster like you. You're a murderer with a god complex and an insane world domination scheme, and for what? Just because you have psychic powers and other people don't? Get bent, you entitled prick!
I did think you'd say something like that. It's a shame. I was hoping you'd be more understanding. Normal people don't care about you, Red. They're all just waiting to turn on you.
Have you considered that everyone wants to turn on you because you're an unpleasant person who doesn't care about anyone else?
Do you understand your position? You're trapped here, and I'll do whatever I like with you. Maybe you don't agree with me now, but by the time you leave, you will.
You think we'll let you do that?
You don't have a choice. You saw Ben earlier, didn't you? Maybe you don't recognize him now. He used to be Benny Rhodes, the man who graciously gave me his apartment. But not anymore. I wiped him clean and rebuilt him the way I wanted him. As far as he knows, he's always served me. He'll happily do anything I ask.
Yeah? Does that make you feel good about yourself?
It does, actually. I'm excited to do the same to you.
You're just... No, not now. We need to wait.
Wait? Wait for what? You're already in my hands, Red. There's no one who can help you. You don't know where you are, and I have guards on a lookout everywhere on the property. Even if you use your powers to call your friend Wes, it's hopeless. The moment they step foot here, I'll kill them.
You're going to kill Wes?
Don't look so shocked. It's natural, isn't it? I want you all to myself. When I'm through with you, you'll love me more than anything else. What do you think of that?
I think you're not as smart as you think you are.
Still talking big, are you? Well, you'll see for yourself soon enough. Consider my offer, Red. Whether we go the easy way or the hard way, it makes no difference to me.
You can take your offer and shove it up your ass.
Charming, as always. We'll continue this conversation later. In the meantime, I'll leave you with this.
A blindfold? I'm not into that kind of thing.
It's so you can't use telekinesis to escape. I don't think you can regardless, but why take unnecessary risks? I'll see you later, Red. Think about it. Rem left me there. With my hands and feet all tied up, I was good and trapped. Even I couldn't get out of this one. All I could do was wait, so that's what I did. I waited, and I thought about what Rem had told me. I could do without all the kidnapping and rough treatment, but maybe they had a point. I was psychic, and other people never really understood that. Rem was different. They could treat me the way I deserved. Maybe going along with them would be worth it.
Oh, Rem is insane. They're out of their mind if they ever thought I'd go along with this weird elitist crap. Tell me honestly, Wes, do I really seem like that kind of person?
Considering you've made it your business to help those normal people, and you seem to do it for free more often than not, I don't think so. You ought to be happy this bird thinks you've secretly got a superiority complex. If they didn't, they'd probably be digging through your head again now. How are you doing with those knots?
It's coming along. I don't know why Rem thought a blindfold would stop me from undoing the ropes, but I'm not about to question a good thing. The left side feels stuck.
Pull the bite around the other way.
Okay. Yeah, alright, that's better. You know, this would be easier if you could just undo the knots. Ropes are a lot harder to work with than locks.
In case you haven't realized, I'm a ghost. Touching things is not my area of expertise.
I'm just saying. There we go. Now let's get this blindfold off. My shoulders are all cramped now.
You'll live. I checked outside. We're in the outer city on some rich person's estate. I think we're somewhere on the south side, but it's hard to tell.
Wait, you mean Rem really stole a mansion? They're pretty confident if they think they can get away with that. Who's paying the taxes?
It's not the largest mansion we've visited, but it still means there's no one nearby to help. What's the plan?
We stop Rem, we get out of here, and go home. Rem took all my stuff, so I need a phone, and I need a weapon.
A telephone? You think calling in some Johnny Law will help with a psychic?
Yeah, didn't you notice? Rem needs physical contact to use their powers, and they can only work on one person at once. They've gotten this far by sneaking around behind the back lines, but when it comes to a head-on attack, they're useless.
There's guards trawling the hallways. How do you expect to leave without getting caught?
Well, without my kit, I think the best option is the window. We've even got a rope here and everything.
There's bars on the window.
Yes, and if you haven't noticed, they're bolted on. Looks like Rem thought they'd only be temporary.
How are you going to unbolt them without a wrench?
Wes, I can open deadbolts from the inside. You think I can't undo a few bolts?
I don't know. I've never seen you do it.
Oh, then I guess we'll both learn something new today. How solid do you feel right now?
Very.
Good. Hold on to that. Keep a lookout. I'm ready to get out of here.
I didn't know how long it was until Rem returned. Maybe minutes, maybe hours. It didn't matter. The fact was, I was helpless, and I could only see two ways out of the situation. I could go with Rem, or they would make me. I knew which one I would prefer. After all... What? This had better be important, or...
Surprise!
Roy! How the hell did you get here?
I told you, you're not as smart as you think you are. Grab them.
Grab them? What do you...
That's good. Hold them tightly. We don't want them to get away. Now do we?
How are you doing this? You can't use telekinesis like this.
It's true, I can't. but I've got backup.
You mean, Wes? That's impossible. There's no way they could have gotten in here.
That's where you're wrong, Rem. Wes has been here this whole time. You just can't see them.
That can't be true. They're not psychic. I saw it in your memories. Wes isn't psychic.
They're not. But I guess in your obsession with psychics, you missed the most important thing about them.
What?
Wes is a ghost.
You rat bastard!
Maybe I am. Doesn't change the fact that you're down. Law enforcement is already on the way.
You can't do this to me! I would have given you everything! We could rule this city!
In case you didn't hear me the first time, I don't actually want that because I'm not an asshole. Being psychic is annoying enough on its own. I don't need you to get all in my face about it too.
You think I'm the only one who cares about your psychic powers? Roy, you idiot! There's people out there who hunt psychics like you and me. They don't care if you're on their side or ours. They just care about the power in your head. They want to take us apart and see what makes us tick. At least if you'd stayed with me, you'd be safe.
Stop trying to convince me, Rem. I don't want any part of your insane plans. I don't want any of the dominating or the killing or the ruining people's lives. It's over. You've lost. Admit it.
No, it's not over.
Rem.
If I can't have you, then nobody can!
Rem, no! You stabbed me.
I'll see you in hell!
Wes, help me!
Let me go!
Wes,
You think you can do this to me?
Wes, what are you doing?
What a scary ghost. Your friends.
Wes, stop, you're going to kill them. Wes, don't.
What? I need some help and a stretcher. There's a stab victim up here.
Well, Roy, here we are again. Except you look a lot worse than last time. You lost a lot of blood. I was scared stiff for a while. I wasn't sure if you'd make it, but it looks like you got help in time. It looks like your surgery went well. I'm grateful for that. Rem got away. I don't know where they've disappeared to, but there's law tearing apart the apartment and the mansion and finding a lot of dirt. It'll be hard for Rem to keep up their racket. I've got half a mind to find them and tie up some loose ends myself.
Wes.
Roy, you're awake.
Wes, don't kill Rem.
Rem backstabbed you and got your head all twisted around. They nearly gave you a first-class ticket to the morgue, and you think I ought to leave it?
I know. But I'm still asking you. I don't want you to do that, Wes. It's over now.
Do you really think this is the end of it? They know your telekinesis is stronger than they thought. You got away now, but you won't get lucky a second time. Rem's rotten, no two ways about it. People will get hurt if they walk free.
I know. I'm sorry. Maybe it's selfish, but you know how I feel about this. I don't want you to be a murderer.
All right. I'll let it go. But if Rem tries anything again, I'm not making any promises. I'm not letting them hurt you. Got it?
I guess I can live with that. What are we going to do now? Where do we go from here?
Roy, You nearly got gutted yesterday with a switchblade the length of my hand. Whatever you want to talk about, it can wait.
But...
We can talk later. Get some rest.
Okay. And Wes?
Yeah?
Thanks. For everything.
Of course, Roy.
You've just heard Memento Mori, the 12th and final episode of Roy Kaplan, Out of Sight. Rem was played by Dee Casselian, Kaplan by Jesse Peng, Wes by Caleb Jensen. Our cast also includes Mike Castoro and Madeline Harsh. Roy Kaplan is written, edited, and produced by Jesse Peng. Our music is composed by Beacon. This show is brought to you by the Pinwheel Lab. If you've enjoyed Out of Sight, come find us at Roy Kaplan Pod on Tumblr or on thepinwheellab.com. If you really enjoyed it and want Roy Kaplan to have a second season, consider supporting production by buying the digital downloads or script book, available on Patreon and Itch.io. Getting Out of Sight produced and released has been a very long road. Whether you've been patiently waiting since its initial announcement or only found and binged the whole series today, thank you for listening and sticking to the end of the season with me. Here's to more adventures in the future, so stick around.